Hello, my name is Brian Kirsch, and today I wanted to talk to you about security cameras. Now, the reason this came up, a friend of mine asked for some advice about getting a security doorbell, one of the rings or this very similar model. And I'm not going to go through all the different products, but what I want to actually talk about is a couple key things when you look at any of the vendors. I also want to talk about a normal type of camera, just a non doorbell type camera versus a doorbell camera. So, one of the big things you have to ask yourself is why are you doing this? If you're worried about, let's say, package thieves, and so you want to go down that path of a ring doorbell or a different model, one of the things to keep in mind is the speed in which that occurs. Somebody will be at your front door, come up, grab your package, and they're gone. By the time most of these devices actually connect into the network, because if they're battery operated, they're passive, meaning they're not actively on the network. It would drain the battery too quick. So there's a low power mode, and they have to ramp up. But even if you have it wired, you still have to get through the process of connecting, buzzing the alert on your mobile device here. You got that, and then the device activates. You can speak, but for what purpose? Somebody's already walking down your yard with your package. They're not going to come back and answer you. Most of the time they're wearing a hat or something that covers their face, and even if you give the video footage to the police, there's no guarantee they're going to do much about it. And that's just because it's a lower tier crime, unfortunately. So putting that in there to dissuade that, I'm not quite sure, if that's the best thing to do with it. Now, to alert you when you have people at the house, what have you, that's not a bad thing. There's plenty of great reasons to do that. But again, to do it where you're thinking you're going to prevent something might not exactly be the best use. Here's another thing with a lot of the doorbells. There's usually a subscription attached. Now, that goes the same for a standard camera. That goes for a lot of things nowadays. And I've got a whole nother video on that. But when you go to look at a vendor, see if you have the ability to do local recording. So this is a Weiss camera, and it actually does have a slot for a micro SD card. So you can record directly on the camera. However, this same vendor will sell you a cloud service. Okay, and that's something you pay for, a couple bucks a month, but it does add up. Now, I have a Ring doorbell, specifically on one side of where my garage is, just so I would know if somebody's delivering. That's great, but I do not pay for the subscription. It doesn't sound like a lot, but the problem is they start small. It's a couple bucks. Well, then you need this, then you need that. And by the time you get done, you're now dropping 20 bucks or more. And that's what you got to be careful of. I'm not saying they're not worth it. You just have to go in there knowing that it might start out small, and then you go like, well, I'd like that. And that is a continual subscription. So that is every month, and that's just the reality to it. So definitely something to keep in mind as you look at these things. Now, I want to talk about like these type of cameras that you might put in. As you might have noticed in the background, I have a dog. I actually have two. And you use these to monitor your pets during the day when you're at work, or whatever you want to do with them. You can monitor a room, or you could easily point one outside. A lot of the cameras are indoor outdoor, so you can point them outside. These, and I want to be real cautious here. It's not that it's not a professional security system. It's something you're doing from home. You're plugging into a mobile app. It's not that they don't have night vision and motion detection and all that. But again, what is your purpose? You can put one of these in the garage and See if somebody's in your house, in the garage, like breaking into it. Great use. But again, keep in mind, what are you trying to do with it? The other thing with these, you kind of got to be a little careful of, what is the feature set? What is it actually designed to do? So are you going to put this out by a bird feeder to watch for birds? Great. Are you going to put 20 of them around your house to monitor everything? Okay. Whatever you choose to do, just remember, you got to plug everything in typically. There's a few that are solar powered. Do you got something that's indoor, outdoor? What kind of temperature extremes are you living in? I've used cameras like this to watch my dogs during the day while I was at work. It gave me a peace of mind. And also, some funny video of, what they do during the day, which is always unique. Could you put one in the garage to monitor something? Absolutely. But also then every time you walk out the garage, you're going to set off your motion detection and you're going to start buzzing your phone. Same thing if you put it outside. You could have fast-moving clouds, and you will actually trigger motion sensor on that as the shadow moves across the ground, especially on pavement. The reason I bring that up is you can potentially have so many different alerts, you become numb to them. You no longer pay attention to them because they're coming in too much. And then when you trim all the alerts down, then you don't actually get what you're looking for. So you got to find that balance point if you're going to go down this path. You've got door sensors, window sensors, all of this stuff you can put in by yourself. And it's really to find what you're comfortable with, what you want to do with, these type of products. Because, at the end of the day, there's upkeep and, obviously software versions and then hardware versions where you have to update and all that. So it's a little bit of a wild ride when you get into it. But one of the great things about some of this is the price tag. So now, and I just happen to have a couple of these Weiss cameras. This one is like $30 at your local home improvement store. That's not a bad investment. And oddly enough, and I'll put a picture up here in the corner here. I use one of these to watch my squirrel feeder out the front of my office. And I do that just because it entertains me. But as you see in that image, that's not using traditional night vision. That's using a color night vision, and that's from the inside of the house looking out. And that is pitch black. Now I have one porch light on, a front door type light, that's at about 20% power. So the illumination that you get with these things for $30, I'm not going to lie, is pretty impressive. So if somebody were to be at the front of the house or doing something, the camera would absolutely, capture that. So there is a lot of value in it. Just make sure you understand what you're trying to do with it. If you're really going down that security path and you're really kind of concerned about it, you definitely want to talk to a professional, because again, you can basically alert yourself into oblivion where you'll never pay attention to anything. And that does you no value. Then you've spent money on these devices and you're not getting anything out of them. So be a little cautious going in. I'm not here to recommend one vendor versus another. It's happened to be what I had. I've used D-Link, Weiss, a few others. Look at what they offer, look at the feature set, and pay attention to the subscription piece. Do they allow local recording? Is it only a mobile app? Do you have a desktop companion app? Look at those type of things, because those are the things that get buried. But definitely pay attention to the subscription piece. That is the one thing that is really becoming predominant. And what you might think is a one-time purchase now chews up X amount of stuff per month. So keep an eye on that. So again, my name is Brian Kirsch, and thank you for watching.